Hi, I'm Gordon Campbell. I'm here with my friend Pablo, and we're going to show you that linoleum is not just for floors anymore. We can make mosaics out of linoleum. I use discontinued marmoleum samples. Marmoleum, as other linoleums, is a natural product made out of linseed oil, fine resin, cork dust, sawdust, with a burlap or canvas back most of the time, so it is biodegradable. It's a green product. To get started, and this, by the way, is water. I drink gin red. You need a backer board, substrate. Most of the time I make my own out of scrap plywood, masonite, whatever. You can also buy panels ready-made. It's a masonite one. I prefer to use the scrap plywood, sticking with the recycled product that I'm making. It's kind of like making your own jigsaw puzzle. You get started by, in this case, I did a commission piece of Simon the cat. He's not with us anymore, so I can't show you the finished product, the cat or the mosaic. But I would start with making an image, photocopy an image, glue it onto the board, just using Elmer's glue. Spread it on the board, take a spatula or whatever, spread it around, glue that down on there. And I would have a second copy I would use to make my templates. And for instance, this is, say I want to start with the leg on this, so I would cut that out of the second copy and take whatever marmoleum I've selected for the color, this being a sample. This is what I get mostly from the factory representative of the discontinued patterns. This looks close to Simon's color, so I would take the marmoleum, take my template, use a glue stick, glue that down, and I use a heavy duty scissors, and I would rough cut the piece out and use the either different sized craft knives, X-Acto knives, to fine tune it, get it where it closely resembles the pattern. Then I would glue that down. The piece I'd cut out, I would glue on here. So I say it's like making your own jigsaw puzzle. The marmoleum comes in many different colors. Some get kind of exotic. This is a fun one if I'm doing a rusty truck or whatever. Looks kind of like rust. There's some really wild colors. You can see why they were discontinued. Would you want that on your kitchen floor? Probably not. Then once all the pieces are glued down, and for a grout, I just use regular caulking and would distribute that. I try to keep the pieces as tight as possible to minimize the grout. Once you get some of the caulking down, and there again you can use a little spatula and work it in, and just take a wet rag, wipe it off. For the straight pieces on the edge, I actually use a paper cutter, because the The marmoleum is pretty flexible when it's warm. It gets brittle in cold weather. Sometimes I have to heat it with a heat gun if it's too cold, but it's easy to work with. I like the marmoleum because it's better than other brands I've tried, because they get quite stiff even when they're warm, but the marmoleum works well. To glue the pieces down, I use Aleene's tacky glue, craft type glue. Works very well. It'll set up fairly instantly, but stays pliable enough if you look at it 15-20 minutes later, decide you want to change the color or whatever, you can remove it. But overnight it'll set up pretty tight. Then it gets pretty hard to peel off after that. So, there's two different types of mosaics I do. Like Pablo here, he's basically flat. All the pieces are applied directly to the backer board. Another type, like this little gal here with her cat. Well, this one I put a border on it on top of another piece. So I'll cover the whole board panel with a background and then put the frame color on top of it, as well as the images. They went on top of the backing color of the marmoleum. It gives it more of a 3D effect. So I like doing that on a lot of them. That's basically all there is to it. It's not a complicated process, and if anybody's really interested, they can go to my website. There it is. And that will give you a little more information and more examples of the work I've done. So I appreciate your time, and I hope you find your creative ability by either getting inspiration from mine. I didn't start this till I was 70 years old, and I'm a whole lot older than that now, so it's never too late to create art. Thank you.